sink.
Really?
Now you realize we need to get a new couch. All the people who sit here. Sorry.
That's about right.
Okay. Oh, I'm taller than you. I'm taller than you.
So I first met your mother when I saw her crossing this Brooklyn Bridge. No, that's when Harry met Sally.
Okay, really? See, I
No.
don't remember that. All right.
We got married 2
You have
weeks later,
questions for us,
and
or-
it's been 52 years. What?
Are you actually filming right now?
I am.
Oh,
Okay.
did not know that.
Tell me the story on how you both met.
We probably have two different versions.
Well, then go ahead and share either version.
Or
Whoever
depending,
wants to start first.
depending what you want to hear. I guess I'll let you go first.
Yeah, Dad can go first, and then Mom can fill in.
Okay.
I was invited to a birthday party for Rachel Meyer. She was turning 30. It was at her house. And then Lisa was at the door, and I opened the door, and there she was.
Oh, I don't remember you opening the door.
I think I opened the door.
Oh.
And there you were. I thought, oh, she's pretty. Is she single? And then I tried to stir up conversations with her. But then she did the three-legged race with Steve Quinn. And I was sad because I wanted to do the three-legged race with her.
I think, was it random? Then we just
was
picked
random,
names
yeah.
or something.
And then she was getting ready to leave because she had obligations. And so I asked her if she was available, was it Saturday night first? And you said, well, and then how about Sunday night? Well, and then I was about to give up and she gave me her phone number and then she left. And now's your turn.
Yes, how about you, Mom?
All right.
What was your...
It was not love at first sight for her at all.
It was not.
It was for me.
Well, yes, and we knew Rachel, her last name Myers? I think
Myers.
it's Rachel Myers. We knew her from differently. I knew her from my church that I was attending, Evangelical Bible Church. We went to the same church, and she knew Ted from
Bible study.
Officer Christian Fellowship. So
Bible study.
yes, Bible study on the base. I don't know how she got affiliated
I don't
with
know how
it,
she got
but
affiliated.
so when I found out the party, well, I can't remember what day it was. Do you remember when it was?
I don't remember what day it was.
I don't remember either.
I think it was October 10th, 1992.
It was sometime in October, because shortly thereafter, yes,
Mhm.
we had our first date. So I, of course, said, yes, I'll come. And then a good friend of mine wanted to set me up on a double date.
Which one? Which friend?
I don't know if it was Diane or Jean or both. Whoever it was, I said, well, sure, but I'll have to meet you at the event. I couldn't join for dinner because I felt obligated, because I did commit first to going to this surprise birthday party. So therefore, I had to leave early because I had to get to my second commitment. And it was actually another guy,
She makes a lot of commitments.
Air Force Base as well, who was off it.
Pilot.
I can't
Another
remember his
squadron.
name now. Do you?
I know what it looks like. I forgot his name.
Yes. Anyway, so I get there, and I think when I spotted you, you might have been sitting down. You were writing in a card or something. I don't know if there was something we had to write in for Rachel because she wasn't there yet, or was it a surprise party? Were we surprising her?
I don't remember.
I think we were. So, yes, and I saw you, and of course, the blonde-haired guy, good looking, sitting there writing on a card.
It was not love at first sight for her.
But, yes, so I chatted with people, and then we did have the three-legged race. All I remember is you trying to get me all excited about you flying, practicing getting your pilot's license.
I was getting a single engine
that's
rating
right.
in a Piper Tomahawk, and I said I could take her up on a flight.
Yeah, he was trying to impress me, I think. It's like, hey, I want to go up on an airplane. And interesting enough, you fly these huge planes, but you can't fly one engine plane.
I haven't trained to do that.
He wasn't trained. So, yes, you did ask me, and I can't remember if it was, I think you tried 3 times.
I don't think she was impressed at all.
Might have been Saturday, Sunday, Monday. I think you tried 3 times, and then I kind of
I
felt
requested 2 or 3 times. I was afraid for the third time.
Oh, because it was like, well, yes, I always was busy every night.
How do I let this guy down?
So, very unlike me.
That's what I thought.
I don't know where I got the piece of paper. I wrote my phone number on the piece of paper, which is
was
very unbecoming. of
Not a
me, I
cell
think.
phone. It was like your apartment phone, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Probably, because, right, we didn't have cell phones
There were no cell
then.
phones back then.
No cell phones. And I did have a friend that told me I should
There was
get.
no email back then.
That's true.
There was no texting.
How do we even connect?
No
But-
texting. No texting.
But I did
Imagine.
say, I did have a friend say you need a voice message machine. They had these box message machines because I'm never home. And people get a hold of me. So I did get one of those voicemail machines. So I'm not sure how you got a hold of me. Anyway,
Kept calling.
that's how it worked. So yes, I thought you were good looking, cute guy.
You told me
Definitely.
before that you weren't really impressed.
I wasn't love at first sight.
No.
Sorry.
Well, how was the first date? What was the first date?
I went first. You go first this time.
Oh, yes. The first date was in the old market in Omaha, Nebraska, because, yes, I was teaching special ed at a school in Omaha, same district as my dad. You were at Offutt Air Force Base. But, yes, Omaha, the old market's kind of a cool place. So, good place for a first date. Lots of fun shops, restaurants. And you decided Billy Toads, right?
No, Billy Frogs. Billy Frogs.
Oh, no, that's funny.
Billy
Billy Toads.
Froggs. Billy Frogs.
I had the right reptile.
Right.
How funny. Billy Toads.
I think it's still there, Billy Frogs. Yeah.
Yes, it's Billy Frogs. But I can go from there because Ted, I'm like, where are we going to go? But that was from some pilot who told you to go there. Correct?
Another pilot who's very popular with women. He suggested going to Billy Frogs. I said, okay.
We'll do it.
That's what I did.
Yes.
So then share more about the first date, I guess, Dad, from your perspective.
Okay.
Did we meet at Billy Frogs?
That is a good
Or
question.
did I pick you up? I don't
I
remember.
think that's sad. How can we remember? Did you pick me up? You must have. Now that is interesting. I don't remember that either.
I don't remember. But we were at Billy Frogs.
Yes.
And then we sat at a table and ordered, and then we shared pictures of our families.
Yes.
That's what we did.
Could have been boring, but I do remember sharing pictures of my sister, my niece, especially my nieces, because they were so cute, little at the time. Julia and Brienne.
Abby wasn't
Yes.
born yet.
Abby was not born yet. That's true.
Mm-mm.
So we did that. And then we did walk around a little bit.
In the old market.
Did I hold your hand? I think I did.
Maybe.
First date? That would
Probably.
be
I don't know.
kind of interesting. I'm trying to remember if I did that. All I do remember is once again, it was a weeknight because I think I said, well. And so I think it ended up being a Tuesday night. But because I teach and I had lots to do, I think I said I have to go home. Yeah, I had a lot to, it was 8:30. It was early, I think, 8:39.
I probably took you home.
My guess is you probably picked me up
Yeah.
and took me home.
'Cause I wouldn't
But I
have-
felt bad
wouldn't want you to have to park by yourself. No.
because I had lots to do.
So
Right.
then what happened after the first date? What led to more dates after that?
I just kept calling.
Well, I don't think so. He had to go on a trip right after the first date.
I had promised a friend that I would go to Montana with him and some other friends to help his father's ranch fix a barn. He was part of our Officers Christian Fellowship group. Helped take care of things. His father was in his 80s, I think, and needed help. And we said, hey, we'll go to Montana with you and do it. So I spent 2 weeks there. But did I try calling you? I don't think I. Yeah, that was long distance. That was expensive, so I don't think I did that. Did I?
You had told me you'd be gone for 2 weeks. So I
Then I would come
just
back.
got the first date in, I think, right before you left. And then
Mhm.
my sister Lori, of course, was saying, oh, you should call him and leave a message to
On
let him know you're
my
interested.
answering machine.
Yes, we had answering machines. That's the only
In my
way I
apartment.
could get a hold of him. Probably because at the time I was I 27 then? I think so.
Mm-hmm.
So, looking out for me, my sister, of course. So I did call and left a message. And I guess that was a good thing because then your dad was happy because
When I got back,
realized that I was still interested.
she cared.
So then, did you call her back instantly when you got back?
Well, I at some point, if it wasn't too late, I did. I think so. Guess what our second date was?
Yes, that was an interesting second
Watching
date.
George Herbert Walker Bush lose to Bill Clinton. I'm saying, I'm serious.
It was the
election day,
That was our date.
1992 was our second date. I think I was on alert.
Well, the reason
I just stayed in my apartment
Yes.
because I might be called to duty or
you
something.
have to explain your
So
situation.
in my squadron, sometimes they'd put you on alert, and you'd have to be ready to be called in for in a moment's notice. And so I stayed at the.
But you have to say why. It was the Looking Glass.
It
There
was
a
the
reason.
EC-135. Yeah, just I don't know.
Was it Cold War?
I don't
still?
know. It was the
Whatever it
end of
was.
the Cold
It was
War.
end of the Cold War.
So I had to hang around. So that's what we did. We
So
watched.
I said, well, then I'll come over to
The
you because he
election.
couldn't come to me.
She came to me. Yes.
I
So when
came
did you
to-
decide, just like boyfriend, girlfriend?
I don't know.
You know, back then
We
we
were
didn't
just,
have a definite. You know how they do now on social media, and
We
I
just
am in a
kept
relationship.
doing things together.
Yes, interesting enough, I don't think we
Mm-hmm.
declared.
We never declared.
I don't think we did. We just became. But yes, it was kind of disappointing for us who, weren't too happy.
We voted for George,
Yes, so it
Not
was a
Bill.
disappointing ending to a first
not
date.
Bill.
The election results. Yes, so that was that, and then. Yes, I guess we just kept enjoying time together. Ted would take out his guitar. I remember he would play for me.
Mhm.
Yes.
I
he
never
would
took
get
on
his
a flight.
guitar. No, in fact, Ted never did get his Type 1
My single engine rating.
single
Never did.
engine rating.
I got too busy.
He impressed me, but then he figured, well, now I have her, so I don't have to finish
No,
it.
I got
No.
the impression she didn't care about that at all. So
Oh, that could have been fun.
you didn't.
but you were too busy.
You never brought it up, so.
Oh, I didn't.
No.
That's true.
So when did you decide, Dad, that, oh, this is the woman I want to marry?
I went to Colorado Springs for like a little reunion with some folks from Officers Christian Fellowship to thank Colonel Rob and his wife Jenny Woodruff, who hosted Bible studies every Saturday night at their house during the school year. And so there were like 100 of us there. I don't know. It was supposed to be a surprise for them. And I saw all these people I knew, but they were married and they had kids. And I thought, oh, I want that. So I went back and I figured out a way to propose.
And tell us about the proposal.
Now
Well,
we have two
it didn't-
different
didn't-
versions
It didn't
on
go
this
well.
one.
It didn't go well. Well, I don't know. We were in your parents' car, and then we stopped by your apartment.
It was a Sunday because my mom and dad living, I don't know, 20 minutes from my house, where I had my apartment. We would we went to different churches, but we'd meet for lunch
So
afterwards.
she had to get something in her apartment.
How long ago was this between your first meeting to
6 months.
Since 6 months.
Well, less than 6 months because you proposed at 6 months.
Well, it was
well
close,
around
about
there.
there.
That's true.
So I'm in the car with her parents. I'm in the back seat, and she's in her apartment.
I guess we must
And
have
I
eaten
said to her folks,
together.
I'm thinking of asking Lisa to marry me. That's my way of asking her permission, I guess. And her mother turned like, oh, she's so happy. Her mother is so happy.
Well, I'm sure I was 27 at the time.
And her
Like,
dad,
when
her
is that
dad was
going to
so
happen?
serious. He's like,
Oh.
and this is what he
Contemplating.
said. He's like, well, he said in a serious way, well, you guys seem to get along pretty well together, and I think that's just great. That was it. So I don't know if it was later that evening or the next day or whenever.
No, it was that same day.
Same day. Okay,
Same
that,
day.
that
I
evening.
do remember that.
That
Because
evening.
afternoon you asked
I didn't get on my knee or do any of that stuff. I just pulled out a ring and showed it to her, and she looked at it and she said, oh, no.
I said, oh no, but Ted claims it was
And then,
later. We
and
have
then I was
different versions.
devastated.
Oh,
I got shot down. And then we went to her parents' place.
yeah,
They all
that
came
was
over
hard.
and they passed Lisa and they hugged me. Oh, Ted, we're so sorry.
My mom's like, what is she
What are you doing, Lisa?
That's what my mom's thinking, I'm
And
sure.
what did your sister say?
Well, I can get to that point.
Okay. And then
When you're finished with your...
yeah, and then
version.
at their house, Lisa said, "Well, what I meant to say was not yet." Okay, now you can go.
Okay. See, I still have a different version of when I said not yet, but
Well, that's what I remember.
okay.
But I've got a pretty good
I know
memory.
you're devastated. I'm
I had a
so
pretty good
sorry.
memory,
Well,
especially with significant emotional events.
I do remember...
What's so funny?
I'm enjoying this.
Okay.
I do remember you were in my apartment, so it was after lunch. We must have met mom and dad and went with them in the vehicle. I have no idea on that part. But we would do that on occasion, meet for lunch after church. So you can't. You were in the apartment. I don't know where we were sitting. I had a very small apartment, and you played that song. You played a song by Wayne Watson, if you remember that.
Okay, I remember
You
that.
played some song.
Okay. You sure about Wayne Watson?
I think so.
Not Steve Kirsch Chapman? Okay.
Well, I think it was. So, and then I do have to say for
Correct-
the record,
Correct me.
for the
yes.
record, that I was working on my master's degree. And
She was
this was April
preoccupied.
18th. I think you said I think it was April 18th, something like that.
Preoccupied.
That he asked me to marry him. And also, we had never talked about marriage, not once. So this was kind of took me by surprise because we only dated 6 months. But yes,
I made
Ted
my decision. Isn't that good enough?
never told me, or I mean, I assumed, yeah, because we were enjoying each other's company, and I did love being around you, and we had so much fun. And if I wasn't with you, I missed you. That's true. But we just never talked about it. So it's April, and my comps for my degree were in June. So I had been studying very, very much, and I had like note cards in my car. And when I go to work, I'd be studying at the stoplights. I was constantly, because I had lots of questions, well, 4 questions I had to ask. So we had researched as teams. But yes, I was very immersed in preparing. So that kind of threw me for a loop because I'm thinking, oh, yes, okay. So I did say, and as he probably said, oh no, but I thought for sure I said not yet. I'm sure I did before to not like totally, what do you call it, depress you. So I had not met his family yet either. And to me, that's very important. I had not met your mom, your dad. I knew none of your family. So they do say you marry your family, as well. So I thought, what did we talk about? You said you had an event for your poppy, which is your mom's
My grandfather's 75th birthday
Yes.
was in Orlando.
No, it was for their 25th wedding anniversary.
Oh, the 25th anniversary? Okay,
Yes.
25th wedding anniversary, sorry.
Yeah, because he remarried after your
Right, my grandmother died.
grandmother passed
And my
away.
grandfather married.
So yeah, they were only celebrating 25 years, but they
Mhm.
were older. And you said, oh, it's in Orlando in May. And this is April 18. I'm like, well, this would be great for me to meet your family. So it was like around Memorial Day.
Mhm.
So therefore we went. And the only people that knew I said no, of course, were your parents
And your parents.
and my parents. And it's true. I remember mom and dad when we went over, because I felt bad because, we're telling
They felt
mom
bad
and
for
dad that I
me.
said no. And that's why I think I said not yet, or I want to meet your parents. And
Lori.
and then I remember telling Lori, and she's like, "What? I'm surprised he's staying around for you," or whatever. That was something along those lines.
That was
later,
Lori's
later.
advice.
So yes, we went to Orlando, which was good. And I remember saying too, having not talked about marriage, that I needed to pray about it. It was kind of very important to pray. It is a big decision. And having not talked about it before, to pray about it. So yes, we went to Orlando, and your dad was a little nervous. Actually, your mom was nervous for your
My
dad.
sister was 15, Michelle.
Yeah, it's hard to believe.
My mother said to my dad, JC, now don't embarrass us.
Because I
Be-
do
Be
remember
on
meeting them
be on good
special.
behavior. We don't want to scare her away.
I do remember meeting them. I can't remember what it was, but we all sat in some like bar stools, or we sat around a table. Could have been at the hotel or somewhere.
It was
in
probably a country
Orlando.
club.
Oh, wherever it was.
Probably a country club, I think.
So I got to meet them. Very lovely. So JC didn't embarrass
He
himself.
behaved himself.
He
yes.
was good. And then yes, from there. And so of course I told Ted, and this isn't what you expect when you are being proposed to. You see all those shows, down on one knee, and the person says yes, the girl says yes, and you hug and you're all excited, and then here I say no, so that did not go as planned. But then I said, you have to ask me again. But what did you say? I have to be very obvious or something.
You have to give me a
good
very
clue.
strong hint.
Yes. So see, you weren't totally doomed. There was
So
still
then-
hope.
So he proposed in April of '93.
93,
3.
correct.
So then when?
No, Yeah, we started dating October of 92, so that is
April
correct.
93.
then
You were right.
You proposed April of 93.
Yes.
So then when
How long?
did you bring up the conversation again?
Okay. Yes.
2.5 months later.
Yes.
She did.
And
I didn't.
okay, so my comps were like first weekend in June. So after that, that was, off my plate. And then I did pray some more about it. And so I just kept feeling, yes, this is, God telling me yes. And of course, I always thought in the back of my mind after he had asked, because we hadn't talked about it before, so then I would think about it a lot in those 2.5 months. But so I found this book, Getting Ready for Marriage, and I put it in a box.
And she wrapped it up. Yep.
And I gave it to you. I don't know if you had the ring still.
Middle of July, maybe?
No. It was shortly. It might have been just a week. It was very soon.
After your comps?
After my comps were done. Yes, I'm sure it was in June. Yes. Because, hey, we had a 9-month engagement. So would that be right? July, August, September.
So I
October,
opened
November,
the
January.
box, and there was the
Yes,
book,
it was June.
Getting Ready for Marriage. And I said to her, is this
Oh,
a
is
hint?
this-
Is this a hint? And she
That's
said,
right.
what do you think?
Yeah, that's right. It's kind of obvious, isn't
So I
it?
had to ask again on my knee.
I don't think you had the ring, though. Doubtful, because
don't
you
know.
just held on to it. It's a
Then
very
she-
pretty ring.
Then she said yes.
Yes, I did say yes. But it would be June, because then we had a 9-month engagement because, I was a school teacher, so that was my spring break. And we got married.
You had to plan ahead.
Yes.
Mhm.
Remember asking the pastor,
Well, in
Nyquist.
retrospect, I would have rather had it at Evangelical Bible Church with
oh,
Pa-
true, I
Pastor-
never asked your
Pastor
dad
Paul,
where he would like to get married.
but Lisa said
I felt
that
obligated
she wanted to
or
get married
honor
at
my
Messiah
parents.
Lutheran Church that she did not attend, but she grew up there,
Yes,
and she figured her parents wanted her to get married there, so she did.
but I should have
So
asked.
then that
I don't
involved
think they
their
cared.
pastor, who was unnecessary.
Well, we had two
um,
pastors.
It was,
Because he felt, it's his
Whatever.
church. Yes, and that's true. One of these days, we were helping people because, yes, I should have asked you.
I would have been
Because
happy
my church was at
at
Evangelical
EBC, and then
Bible
afterwards
Church.
going to the fellowship hall for catered food or something.
But yeah, my mom and dad, they were paying for it, see. So I guess since Lori was married at Messiah Lutheran, which I grew up there, maybe I just felt obligated and honored to honor them because they were paying for it.
But then, other
Been a
than
while.
that, how was the wedding on wedding day for you both?
Weddings were just a lot different. We didn't have first looks, but Ted and I actually took our pictures before the wedding, so he saw me before the wedding. We felt that would help because to get to the officers club, which was on off at Air Force Base, very pretty, nice country
Like
club.
20, 30 minutes away?
It's at least 30 minutes away, so we thought we better do a lot of the pictures beforehand. So you saw me before the wedding. And I did want some taken on our route there, but that caused us to be late. And we forgot to tell the people they could probably go ahead and start. So I had to wait a little while, which probably was not smart.
When we had 6 sabers
oh, yes.
that the men had who were, officers in the Air Force. And so they lined both sides of the aisle and put the sabers out. And so we
That's a tradition,
walked
maybe? or
through the
can do?
sabers. Yeah, it's an academy tradition. The Lutheran pastor initially didn't want to do that because he thought they were weapons of war.
I think that's why he
And
preferred
I said,
not
no, those
to
are
be at the
symbols of
Messiah Lutheran
honor,
Church.
not weapons of war. They're symbols
Yes.
of honor. It's like, okay. So I
Yes.
convinced them to let us do that.
Yes, but you could tell the whole version, like when the saber comes down, you do kiss before you.
So before they let us
leave.
pass through, the twos at the end, they
Yes.
put their sabers down, so you have to kiss it.
Yes,
And they put it back up and we keep going.
but they were supposed to. There's another part of that, but they didn't do that.
no, they didn't do that.
Are they supposed to
Slaughter than butter, something
swat
like that. But they
the
didn't
bottom
do that.
with their saber? We told them not to do that, right? I guess. No, I loved having them as a part
And then
of
Mark
the
Brown,
wedding.
my best man, he drove a Chrysler New Yorker that was new at the time, and he was our chauffeur
Oh,
to get
yes, that's
to
how
get,
we got
get to the officers
the
club.
Officers Club. He was the best man. So, yes. So we had an evening wedding. If I retrospect, 6:30, I think. So therefore, it was a late night. We did not get sent off. I don't know if I felt I needed to help mom and dad.
Everybody was leaving.
We
so
were
it
the
got
last
late.
ones. We were the last ones to leave.
Yeah.
We helped mom and dad. It was just you, me, my mom and dad, and so we weren't real organized. I didn't have any wedding planner. I didn't have people telling me like the order of the evening. I do remember the DJ saying, "You need to get busy, like throw the bouquet," because we didn't really do well on that
We
time
went really
factor.
slow.
No, I mean we
And
had
the food was very good.
yes, they were
There was dancing, and
heavy appetizers.
that's where
since it was after dinner.
Julia and Brienne were dancing
That's
with
very
Papa.
cute. Yeah, she was maybe 5. Brienne
Right.
was 3. But it was a nice evening. But we didn't also have a what do you call those like the
Send off.
tables? No, we didn't have like the table. We just sat around table with people with our wedding party. We
No-
didn't
no
have
he-
a
no
set
head table?
We did not, of course, do any of the send off. They were probably wondering. They were waiting for us, so then finally they all left. It was okay. It was good.
What may be your expectations of marriage when you first got married versus now?
Oh. Well, you learn about people because you're living together in the same place. So I am more of a night person. And I'm realizing your dad doesn't do well, or initially, later at night. But interesting enough, you must have really loved me because I remember when we'd have these. Well, we talked a lot on the phone when we during our dating time because we were both working full time, so it was hard to get together. I don't even know if we only saw each other once a week, maybe for a while, but we could talk 2-3 hours. But when he did come, it was a good 30 minutes from your place, and he'd leave sometimes 11:30. I didn't realize that's true love because your dad, Ted usually don't stay up late. You said you even got a ticket, didn't you?
I got a ticket. I was speeding home because I was afraid to fall asleep at the wheel.
Yes.
I got a ticket.
So therefore, what I learned when we first got married, we had our wedding pictures. So this is like what, a week or two after? Well, we
It
get
was
back from our honeymoon,
Like 10 o'clock at night looking wedding pictures.
and I was sad because he was like falling asleep. And you don't care, right? Was that my
She was
first time I
crying.
cried? I was sad.
You don't care about our marriage or our wedding. Like, I'm tired. I'm sorry. I do care.
Yeah, so it took me a while though to realize that. I guess I was more the late night. Even though when I taught, of course I had the summers off, but so I had to go to bed a little earlier at night because I had to get up early. But yes, so I guess you just have to compromise or learn better because you are each different.
Then what about you, Dad? What were your expectations versus what you see now?
Well, I mean, the other person is a different person. And I think you each make the other person a better person because nobody sees your flaws more than your spouse.
That's true.
Hmm.
So then,
And it's more forgiving in a way because
Right. And you learn to say, I'm
loving
sorry.
you unconditionally.
You learn to
more
say, I'm
so.
sorry. Yeah.
so then, to anyone in the future with marriage, what are your one piece of advice from each of you for a healthy, happy marriage?
Well, I would say definitely the communication is a big factor. You need to always communicate. Certainly, the importance, as we would say, is be like-minded. For us, because of our faith in Jesus, would be, as you would say, there's that
I
triangle.
would say,
you're
as
pointing
Pastor
toward
Paul would say when he did our premarital
Christ,
counseling,
yes.
as you both
there's-
draw closer to God, you draw closer to each other like that.
So for us, the faith is
So
a big factor.
That, what is the number one thing?
But still the communication as far as your Ted was always very good because being a military family and you being deployed and you having very long hours and now even as an airline pilot, you're gone half the time. So you would make a point to call if you could every night. It's important to communicate because you could just go 3 days and not talk to me and that wouldn't help. So to keep connected.
So learn more, communication is better.
Yes. So
Because
we
then
kind
you're
of
on the
think of
same
that
page,
together.
the same sheet of music, the same mental model. You don't have any misconceptions and you understand each other.
And last questions. What you recently celebrated your 30-year anniversary,
Mhm.
and so what new promises do you want to make for your spouse for the years to come?
New promises? Oh,
I
wow.
don't know if we made any new promises.
Hmm.
I think we kept to the original promises.
Hmm.
Should we make new promises?
Well, we could.
What new promises would we make? I don't know.
For me, I mean, we talk about, what's on our minds and what's bothering us, or, as far as praying together, they always say that's very important. And we haven't always done a lot of that together and more consistently anyway. So I think that is always a good thing that we could try to do more of. But then it is harder because, you're still gone half the time, and then I'm here half the time. So, and then we just get busy doing other things. But to be more connected that way. For us, just to show the importance of marriage and commitment, that's the reason why we did the 30th anniversary.
It's an example for you guys.
Yes, for our children. To, yes, show that it's for forever.
The long term.
Long term. And promises, yes. And I think we're doing better. And it takes time. The unselfishness of putting the other first, more so. But also just in the little things. Even though we've been married 30 years, I wasn't always good. Ted loves a clean kitchen. So when he comes home and it's been 3 days, I go, I got to make sure that countertop's clean. Have the dishes put away in the dishwasher. But I was slow going, but maybe it was all the young ones when you have children.
We both love acts of service.
We do. But I don't know how good I was at doing it earlier on, because with all the girls at home, I was just busy.
You're busy.
So I didn't always, make an effort. And then, I like it when you make my bed in the morning.
Acts of
So,
service.
interesting, when I'm in the shower and I come out and open the bathroom door and the bed's made. It's so cool. And then I come down and you get my newspaper, and light my candle.
Acts of service.
But we probably didn't really do more of that.
My fire. So funny.
But we didn't do that probably within the last few years. See, because being more empty net, I don't know. I guess we're thinking more of each other.
The longer you're married,
then you realize
more you kind of divide the duties and figure out what the other person's better at.
That's true.
I'll
cook and you clean. I do the cooking.
As an example,
clean
right?
up.
Mom cooks, I clean.
Because he's better at that than I am.
So to wrap it up, share one thing to each other you love about each other.
I love how you're fun.
You love how
Because
fun.
I'm not, yes.
You can have fun. Just need a little push.
You're more fun than me.
But I appreciate, as you all know and all the girls know, you're very reliable.
I'm reliable.
And
I was
you're
voted most reliable in high school.
But dependable.
Most
you always
dependable.
fix things. You were quick and efficient.
And
Whereas
she got
I
the
am
Rand
more.
Spirit Award.
I am more indecisive. So
I'm
that
not
helps.
indecisive at all.
I know. And I love how your dad does care to help. He's good at
He cares.
helping and
I
being
care.
there and supporting me. Yes. And getting to all these little things I want him to do, which you'd rather go to work sometimes and do all
Sometimes.
the activities, but and helping your daughter. So
Mhm.
love your dad's heart, and especially that he loves God. That's important.
That's the
Loves
most
the Lord.
important thing.
Yes. And that he loves music, because I like music. So
Mhm.
we like to do musical events.
Go to the orchestra, dinner theater, yeah.
It's okay that you didn't do the sports as much, because we have that in common, the music.
Yeah, she would have talked to me in high school. I was a nerd, she was a jock. When she was a senior, I was a sophomore, it would have happened.
Or senior freshman. So yes,
We might have met in choir, that's about it.
right. We do love the music. So
Mhm.
But okay, now give each other a kiss.
Okay.
yes, love you
Wait,
too.
wait,
Oh,
wait.
I take the glasses
There,
off.
easier.
Mm.
There,
Aww.
That was a
Okay.
quick one.
yes.
Yay! That's it.
Okay, good.